Okay, we're back again. We've got the seagull. Let's get the seagull on the timer and see what happens to it if we change its temperature. Once again, we're going to cool this sucker off. We're doing 10-second readings. Okay, it was, I think, between 0 and 3 before page, bouncing around, still about the same numbers. Let us see what happens when you cool it. I don't really want to freeze these movements. This stuff is pretty cold. Give you an idea. 30 degrees or so. Let's I don't want to do it all at once. Now let's see if the heat will be drawn out of the crystal over time. It's probably a bad reading because I was bumping it, but let's see what we're getting here now. It should be yes. It's beginning to slow up. The watch is getting colder, and it was, you remember, essentially bang on. It's still getting colder. So the timekeeping capabilities of this watch are declining as it moves off its sweet spot. Now, you can adjust the trimmer capacitor to make the sweet spot at any temperature you want. But as it varies from that temperature, you see what happens here. You know, this is 1 second off every 4 days at this point. You know, that's still good for a quartz watch, but nothing that you're going to write home about, and certainly nothing that somebody is going to say, "Oh my goodness, it's the world's greatest watch," and it only cost $20 from Hong Kong. So why are you buying these expensive thermocompensated watches? Well, it should start getting a little warmer here. Let me put my hand on it and see if I can get it warmed up a little. And you'll see that it begins to speed back up as the watch gets a little more heat into the crystal. Well, it takes a little while for the temperature gradient to penetrate into the crystal, and it takes a little while for it. Here we go. We're beginning to warm up now, I think. At least my hand is beginning to think it's warming this watch up. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, as you change the temperature, you change the timekeeping capability of this watch. Okay, we're back here with the exceed on the timer. The exceed is not producing signal right now. Let's make sure that we've got signal. Let me get there we go, spread the weight out a little. There we go. There's a coil. Okay. I've squirted it a little to cool it off some. Let's give it some more. Okay, you notice it's pretty accurate here. Let's see if we can get this thing cooled down a bit. Yes, it's slowing up as it gets colder and colder. But thermocompensation may very well kick in, and it may, even though the crystal is continuing to get colder and colder. I think the algorithm is going to return it to a more accurate number. We may have bottomed out there at minus 15. Let's see. Yep, it's getting smarter, better, more accurate. But you notice that the watch is still covered with ice. So it's not getting worse, it's getting better. It is compensating for the temperature that the crystal is at now. Ooh, a bit of overcompensation maybe, or whatever, but let's see if at a 10-second refresh rate, you only get 10 samples, and you've got to get some pretty good things. But you notice, I mean, this sucker's dead on now, and the watch is at 57 degrees. So, you know, I mean, this watch has corrected for the temperature-induced inaccuracy, and is once again back to an accurate watch. Okay, we've got the what is this? A Seiko, a Grand Quartz on the timer now. Make sure we're getting good signal. Yeah, okay, we should be getting some good samples. And this was, that's about what the error was that we saw. Okay, this is what it is at the temperature that we're at right now, which is 81 degrees. Let's cool this sucker off. And remember, this is a thermo-compensated watch, so it's supposed to correct. Ooh, I don't want to get this stuff in the movement itself. I don't mind the backing, but I'm really not terribly eager to freeze the movement in the interest of science, having just paid $600 for this sucker. Let's see what happens to the signals. It takes a little while for the coldness to penetrate when you're doing it this way. I could spray it straight on the crystal, but that's not a good thing. And you notice it's beginning to slow up as the crystal gets colder, and slow up more. And slow up more. The crystal is still getting a little colder, I would think. Crystal certainly isn't getting any warmer. But you notice there's no compensation. As the crystal gets colder, the watch here continues to show more and more error. There is no compensation for temperature, even though Seiko claims there is. And indeed, if you remember the data from the Seagull, this appears to have even more error induced by the temperature than the Seagull had. And of course, the Exceed went back to normal, even though it was cold. So I think that we either have a defective watch here, or we have some people that were claiming thermal compensation when they weren't getting it. Now, I'm sure that the solution would be make sure you wear the watch 12 hours a day, or some kind of dance like that. But as you saw with the Exceed, if thermal compensation works, it works. And clearly there isn't any real thermal compensation with this model. Hey, I enjoyed it. Hope you did too. Thanks. Bye.